الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد يقول الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج وما تفعلوا من خير يعلمه الله وتزودوا فإن خير الزاد التقوى واتقون يا أولي الألباب. وقال مصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم المسلم أخو المسلم، أو كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نسأل الله يجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this year, and we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything. My respected elders, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah did mention about the spirit and the key ingredients in the cuisine of Al-Hajj. That Al-Hajj is performed in well-known months. And so he who actually intend to perform Hajj daring, Fala Rafatha, there should not be intimacy between him and his wife, Wala Fusuqa, Wala Jidal. And fornication is no-go area, and they should not be quarreling. Now, I know people will say, but we just performed the Hajj, so what is the point? I quoted this ayah to look at one of the ingredients. Fala Jidal. There shouldn't be quarreling, unnecessary argument. You know, sometimes in intellectual field we have arguments that are of use. A person will say this, and you say that, and he presents his facts to back up his claim, or he presents his view or point or quote from scholars, and you do that, and at the end of the day, mashallah, you trash out to see where the truth lies. That's not the type of argument argument that I'm talking of. I'm talking of like real argument and quarreling, because that is actually killing us. And since Hajj has just passed by, we should tap into this spirit and see how, mashallah, we put all this attacking each other and, you know, always at each other's neck and finding faults with each other and leaving behind that which is extremely important. The unity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls. If we have 100 and we agree on 80 to 90% of the key points, why should we be concentrating and dividing ourselves on the 5 or 10 points? But that's what we are experts. In doing so, we actually divide each other and bring about the spirit of unity crumbling. We have pressing issues. As a matter of fact, this is not a time we should be demeaning each other and stepping on our toes and finding this one has done this and this one belongs to this and he has done this. The last time he has done this and I think he's this and that because of this he's doing. Wallahi, we have so much pressing issues that are of extremely importance. Sometimes some things are important, but if you focus too much of that which is important, you lose that which is most important. A very beautiful Arabic saying that if you focus on the important, you will end up losing that which is most important. And so let us look at our situation. Now that Hajj has bring the spirit of unity, how do we tap into this and better our lives? One of the 5 pillars of our Islam is Al-Hajj. And from this, we also have what? Zakat. And zakat has to do with what? We have all opportunities around us. But because we don't put, A and B together, we seem to, we are losing all these opportunities. And when I say we, I don't mean like we in this masjid. I'm talking of us as, first as Muslim Ummah and those of us living right here. Those of us living right here in America. Now you say that, I've never been this state and I've never been that state. Okay, fine. Those of us living in New York, I think that there's no excuse. At least we live here. And sometimes it's because we don't put all these points together and bring about our strength and see how we will actually benefit each other and uplift our situation. Because we live in a very miserable situation. Sometimes, with all due respect, because a person can always open his fridge and have some juice and apple, he thinks he's better off. People are making thousands per hour. People are making tens of thousands per hour. And so if we are making $5, $10 an hour, at least it shouldn't happen to our children. And we can only tap into this when we look at, stop this, attacking and quarreling each other, fighting each other, and always finding a reason why we should disagree. Wallah, some people don't find comfortable, sitting and, mashallah, talking about progress and talking about, mashallah, what should we do to better us? The person will always find reason why we should disagree. The Sahaba, radiallahu anhu, have never all agreed on one thing. Never. They will always differ. But that differences did not divide them. We all know about the famous hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ actually commanded the prophets, commanded the Sahaba to move from one point to the other. This is in Medina. And he said, I want you to be there by Asr. While Asr caught up with them on the way. And others said, Inna salata kana ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Let us pray. It's time for Asr. Others say, you know what? The Prophet said we should not pray Asr before we go there. So others said no, he only meant that we should hurry. So they took what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said figuratively. So they prayed. Others took it literally, so they waited until they get to the point before they prayed. Later on, when they came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, you are both right. Now, this is the spirit of unity. But with us, I am always right, and so you must always be wrong. There is no, a way where all of us could be right. We read this, but subhanAllah, we don't seem to take lessons from these. And if zakat has to do with wealth. And in American terminology, it has to do with bucks. And wallahi, unless we put our heads together, it's sometimes, mashallah, exciting to think you can, mashallah, do things on your own, by yourself. Well, if it's going to take you 10 years, just by uniting with brothers, it's going to take you maybe a year, maybe 6 months. The last time I think it was in this masjid I laid how we could make $1 million in 5 years. If you cannot make it, our children could. In 5 years we can raise $1 million. The idea of us going around in our masjid holding pens has actually shown that we are way behind. Wallah, we are way behind. You don't go to synagogues or you go to churches and see them going around, please, fi sabilillah, help. They don't do that. They've already left that 10, 15, 20 years back. They've left that behind. Because everything is systematically coded. And it's not too late. Wallah, it's not too late for us. It is only when calamity strikes. That's when we can please help the brother, he has had an accident or someone is very sick and he want to go home. So please, could you help? And everybody will be dropping $1. The brother said, something has happened over there and we need help, so please. Why do we have to wait for misfortune to happen before we prepare ourselves? We should always prepare ourselves ahead of the curve. And that is Islam. And when knowledge comes, regardless of where it is, It is our duty to actually go for it. When I was in India, they have something very beautiful. The Indians and the Pakistani do that, and I like that. They have what they call replace yourself. Whatever you think you want to do but you cannot do, find someone, whether your son, your cousin, a neighbor, a Muslim brother, help someone get there. Support him financially to get there. So even though you couldn't get there, you've actually replaced yourself. I like that. And wallahi, when we bring it right here, we can see wonders. Among us, we have different professionals that we need each other. And sometimes, only real thing, wallahi, will make the difference. Biochemically speaking. And if you go, you see someone maybe is out of his mind, is crazy, is mad. Sometimes it's just maybe the push of dopamine. The dopamine has just pushed way up. That's it. That's it. And so he has actually moved from being normal to something else. We all know about trisomy 21. It is only one chromosome added to chromosome number 23. That's it. We have Down syndrome. The person will be mentally decapitated. And sometimes maybe chromosome number 15 just has been imprinted and the other one has problem. From the mother and the father, the person will be suffering from what is called Prader-Willi syndrome. Sometimes just something tiny, little bit, just little bit of stuff here and there, wallah, will make the difference. And so please, as we come to everyday Jum'ah and we pray and go, and the purpose of Jum'ah is not just come, listen and go for next week to just, no. We are supposed to actually use it as a yardstick from last Friday to this Friday. How did I fare? How much have I achieved? In what way did I better my life? You don't want this Friday and next Friday to be the same. No, you always want to improve from this Friday to next Friday, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the chance to actually improve yourself at least 52 times in a year. Now if you stick to that, which means every year you'll be well off. And sometimes, subhanAllah, some of us think being poor is a sign of being a good Muslim. No. Well, if you are poor, you are poor. But if you are intentionally poor, then that's unacceptable. So when are you going to give zakat, which is one of the 5 pillars? And sometimes, wallah, it's because we don't know each other that much. In this masjid and in that masjid, what can we do together? I have been seeing this brother in this masjid. We've known each other for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't even know his name. I don't know what he does, and he doesn't know what I do. Maybe if I add the little that I know with that which he knows, we can actually bring out something. Some of us even actually shivering the idea of even owning our own business. So for how long are we going to be serving and serving and serving till our death? I remember the last time I was just walking on the street, and someone was desperately looking for a cab. He looked at my, the moment he saw this kufi, he asked, "What is your cab?" So we have actually been what? Associated with cab. He said, "What is your cab?" "I need a cab." I just looked at him and smiled. He didn't see me driving. He just saw me walking. Just because what else? It was because of the kufi. Well, if that is what is happening to us, wallahi, not our children. It's very disturbing that some of our children born right here. The last time I said it, and a brother shook me to my very root. Remember the last time I said, some of our children born here are now driving. We are driving. So now you and I and our children actually racing each other for passengers. And some are selling tickets for you know, for the tourists. They're selling tickets. Now, if we are doing that, at least we did, you know, situation brought that, because it took us 10 years to get to this point, and 10 years to get that point, and it took us 20 years, you know, to understand the system a little bit, and then you got your green card, and so by the time you realize, you know, you are stuck. But what about the kids? And so how do we actually talk to each other, get to know each other, actually bring about a change, a positive change? Because a Muslim is he who lives in a place and turn it into a positive neighborhood. But we don't even know each other. We don't talk to each other. We're making no difference. We only come to Juma and pray, and then we go mind our business, and then the next Juma we come and we throw in $1, fi sabilillah, fi sabilillah. For how long will this keep on? For how long? Please. For how long? For how long? We are the only community that have no track of our children. We have no track. Go to any place and ask them, how many youth do we have who have just passed, you know, get to high school? How many youth do we have who are now in colleges? How many of them have just completed their bachelor's degrees or master's degrees, or are heading towards it, maybe MD or PhD? And what connection do we have with them, and how have we trained them or brought them up to come back and serve their community? Of course, if you have people who will be scratching their heads, because we have no program. We have no program that are tracking our children, and this is Islam. You know, when we record everything, I remember a brother told me that, mashallah, you know, next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks, we expect you to come and give khutbah. But in this masjid, we give 2 khutbahs. So please select one of them. I look at the time, I said, okay, inshallah. So he said he will actually call me and tell me which one of these khutbahs. I waited till that Friday. I didn't hear from him. So I called and asked, today is our appointment. Could you please tell me which Juma am I, you know, to perform the khutbah? Is this the first Juma or the second Juma? He was like, subhanallah, I forgot. I've already scheduled someone. Which means there was no books, nothing, no record, nothing. A one-man show, just sitting down from his head. He wants to program everything in the year 2018. I'm not talking like last 10, 15, 20 years. No, I'm just talking of the year 2018. A masjid in New York City, which is said to be the last stop, which is proud to be what? The financial capital of the world. At least if you live in New York City, there are certain, you know, whether you agree or not, there are certain uniqueness attached to New York City. A masjid in New York City in 2018 has no record for nothing. How could this be possible? We're supposed to be a little bit sophisticated. We are Muslims. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولو ترى إذ فزعوا فلا فوت وخذوا من مكان قريب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is challenging us to use our brain to transcend, use our imaginary power to transcend all this universe that we see and penetrate deep into the sky, deep into what? Into the heavens, until the day of judgment. Now the farthest galaxy that man was able to spot was 3 billion light years away, which means if you have a rocket that shoots at the speed of 168,000 miles per second, it's going to take what? 3 billion, would be 3 billion years to get there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you to use your mind to transcend that all the way to what? To Yawm al-Qiyamah. So we're not ordinary people. We're supposed to be sophisticated. And wallahi, if I could do it, you have no excuse to say you could not. I can't. You have no excuse. You know why? Because if I look in this masjid, I see myself as the worst Muslim. And I see myself, I can't call myself dumb, but I'm not clever. I used to be afraid of math, like snake. I was terrible in math. And I was told, in order to do this course, you need to pass math and calculus of all math. I hated it. But I said, you know what? If that is what it takes to get there, let me see these brothers who are experts in this field to teach me how to actually master this particular math. And they did, and I did. Well, if I didn't talk to them, if I didn't, unite with them, if I didn't seek their help, it would have been the same. Wallahi, in this masjid, now this time I'm talking specifically in this masjid, wallahi, we could make the difference in this masjid. We just have to talk to each other. This brother is unique in one thing, and that brother is unique in, each and everyone is unique in his own right. We only have to communicate and see how to better our life, by uniting ourselves and bringing the force and clumping them together and coming up with something new. There are opportunities everywhere, everywhere. And that's why you can see a person. Yesterday I was talking to a brother. I knew him in the Bronx, long time. We used to drive cab with him with, what is the brother? I just saw him passing it, together. I saw him yesterday. He was now a professor. He passed through, he said, I would never take this because I want to inspire my kids. I don't have to wait for them. They are too lazy. I need to inspire them. You push your kids steady, they will be asking in their head, but why is daddy not staying? Sometimes they just don't understand. This brother said, it's time. He pushed himself all the way to bachelor's, master's, to PhD. And he's now a lecturer. And guess what? He's lecturing 2 different universities and 1 college. Only yesterday he was telling me, he said, teaching now is my passion. Of course it's going to be your passion. He said, I only spend 3 hours. And the money is flowing in. Now, if this brother could do it, we have no excuse. Wallahi, we have no excuse. And if you think you have any excuse, then replace yourself. I've just shown you the techniques of how to replace ourselves. These kids are innocent. They are victims of circumstances. They are victims of our differences. They are victims of our tribalism. They are victims of our short-sightedness. And we've actually imported, subhanAllah, we didn't leave those garbages behind. We imported them here. The Prophet ﷺ warned that leave it behind because it's disgusting. But we are so cling to it. If I bring an idea, it's not about my idea. The first thing they ask, where is he from? My brother. Where am I from? I'm from this world. Is he from our tribe? Is he from our country? If you look in Surah Al Imran, the idea of claiming and wanting something that you didn't work for is for kuffar. وَيُرِيدُونَ أَن يُحْمَدُوا بِمَا لَمْ يَفْعَلُوا. This is in Surah Al Imran. Those people who are claim glory for something they didn't work for. That is characteristics of kuffar. The idea of someone, okay, if he brings this idea, at the end of the day, then we coming together and it's going to form, okay, it's going to generate this amount. But what about me? Will I be allowed to be the leader? What is my position? What is my it's not about you. And it's not about me. It's about leaving the legacy for our children to move it forward. That's why the last time I said, wallahi, if Mr. Trump has succeeded in cutting Muslims from coming to this country, all of our masjids, without exception, will be empty. Because soon we're going to die off. And there will be no new influx of immigrants. What do you think will happen? When was the last time you saw an American-born Muslim giving khutbah? We've not trained them for that. Sometimes we even see them as a threat. If he gives khutbah, his accent is different from mine, and he's this, and if he did that, people will be seeing difference. And it's not about you, it's not about me. It's about our children. The idea of me coming from this country or coming from that, and I'm American, and I'm New Yorker, and I'm Pakistani, and I'm Indian, and I'm Gambian, I'm Ghanaian, and that is a design of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You didn't choose your parents. You are what you are because of your parents. The color, the country are because of your parents. You were born because your mom happened to be there. You didn't choose your mom. Your color, you borrowed from 23 chromosomes from your dad and 23 chromosomes from your mom. You didn't choose your parents. So where you were born is irrelevant in Islam. The color of your skin is irrelevant because you are not responsible. No one can, that's why the last time I'm saying that, ask even the atheist. No one can say that he played even a single role into coming into this world. So the color of my skin, where I came from, as long as what I said is good, is accepted in Islam, let's work on that. Let's focus on that. And it shouldn't be about you. If you are doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I've always been giving this example. If a car is stuck in a mud and you are told to push the car out and keep the car moving, if your intention is just to get the car from the mud, to get the car moving, does it really matter if you push from the front, the sideways, or from the back? Wherever you are placed to push, just push. You don't have to be the leader. You don't have to be holding the steering. If you are doing it for the sake of Allah, why do you want to be a leader? Why do you want to be a leader? And because of this leadership, and I have to do this, and Wallahi is destroying us. In this masjid we can do it. In that masjid we can do it. Every masjid, every community has the power to raise $5 million, $10 million in 5-6 years. I've laid out a plan. Didn't I? I did in this masjid, I can remember. And guess what? It doesn't require that much. It requires each and everyone giving only $2 a week. Only $2. If you look in this masjid, if you give $2 a week, we can raise about $200, $300 to boost our children, to be just giving them dividends in order for them to know that the community cares about them, in order to boost their morale and get them into all these 3 fields. And for them to come up with something just to sell it for $19.99, it doesn't even have to be $20. Getting 50,000 people to buy it, that is what? That's $1 million. The Jews are doing it. The Christians are doing it. And yet, 2018, in New York City, we're still going around with pen asking for peace of life, and we're comfortable with it. Islam is a package. It's more than just coming to masjid and praying and going out and minding your business. Islam is about you and I coming together and making sure that the next generation is always better than the generation before. That's what Islam is all about. When the Prophet ﷺ started, he was alone, right or wrong. And only 4 people believed in him initially. Only 4 people. His wife, his closest friend, Abu Bakr, his servant, and his cousin, Ali radiallahu anhu. 4 people. And that's why when someone was told that, forget about that prophet in Arabia, he was a liar. The other one is a Muslim. It's not Muslim, just like the other one who was trying to insult the Prophet ﷺ and demean him. But sometimes we have what we call intellectual fairness. He said, no, I'm not a Muslim. But that man could never be a liar. A lie can never can never sustain itself for 1,400 years and still converting over 1 billion people and still growing, that's not a lie. Now that's us. Now how could Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us everything and yet we refusing? Intentionally illiterate. Everybody feels comfortable in comfort zone. Nobody wants to take any risk. Nobody wants to push himself forward. As long as I go and marshal and come and drink juice and sleep, go and come and Wallah, Islam is more than that. We're supposed to be sophisticated. The idea of going around with pen, and guess what? We're going to do that even today in all our masjids. I'm not saying that the moment we say Bismillah, you say the Imam said we shouldn't put money in pen again and just walk. Don't walk out because we don't have the plan yet. As long as we don't have the plan of mashallah having putting mechanism in place where we should be donating our money or ensure that we take 5-10% of our checks directly into our masjids. As long as we don't have that, we still have to be taken from pan. And so don't walk out without putting the money in pan. Next week we're going to close this masjid because we can't pay the bills. So for now, while we're still going around asking for fisabilillah, let us ask ourselves, how do we better ourselves? Because it's supposed to be sophisticated. Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alif lam mim. Says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a code. A code that nobody knows the actual meaning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna ja'alnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum ta'qilun. Hamim. Another code. And this time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum ta'qilun. In Hamim, Inna ja'alnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum ta'qilun. Always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us what? Is always. Look in Surah Jathiyah. In just one page, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appealed to the brain 4 times. 4 times. And so it's all about cracking the brain. And subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has laid out the foundation. Everything is in there. Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the ayah that almost every Friday we're going to read it. That everything has been put in Al-Quran. You see, you have all what? The imprint, the blueprint. If we have all the blueprint, why can't we actually invest from that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our first. Wallahi is doable. We just have to put our eye, that ananiya, that me aside and come together, wallahi, and you see wonders. Our children are spoiled. Our children are indisciplined. Our children are uneducated. They are lazy. Yes. Now we are more educated than our children. We are well disciplined than our children. We are well grounded Islamically than our children. And it should be the opposite. But guess what? We are partly responsible. We, the parents, we actually contribute for the destruction of our own kids. That's how much we love them. And it's not a choice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold each and every one of us responsible. I didn't say it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did. Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. In an ayah that we all know. This is, even if I don't quote, even before quoting, you know exactly what I'm going to quote. Because it has been repeated, is oft repeated ayah that we all know about the responsibility of the family. And so unless we have that quality time for our children and put that anani, that means, that selfishness that is killing us. If you have to do this, who is this brother? What is he from? No. It's not about where I am from or what are you saying? What is the core of your message? How do we actually tap into that and better the society? It's not about, sometimes, you actually staying behind. The one actually left behind, you are actually the leader. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ was reported to have said that the leader is the one who actually serves. He served his community. You are, the last one serving, you are actually the true leader. But in our thinking, the leader is the one who's supposed, mashallah, to relax, and everybody will come in and greeting him and mashallah, how are you, and this, and and then drinking. Leadership is about responsibility, and it's about sacrifice. If we sacrifice today, wallahi, if we sacrifice today and only push a little bit and stop deep down in our hearts, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alimun bi dhati sudur. He knows deep down what is in the heart. Just push a little bit aside those garbage. Okay, the brother said this. Is this consistent with the Quran and the Hadith? In what way is it going to better our life? The brother said it. Let us focus on what? On the substance, not the color of the skin or where you came from. That's irrelevant. Because you didn't choose that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did. And when we do and come together, and I saw this brother, mashallah, what's your name, mashallah? What do you do? I've been seeing you for a while in the masjid. I'm this. Subhanallah, I'm also that. Maybe together we can actually create a company. And the brother is very good in. I saw one brother right here. Wallahi, it was only last Friday. That I knew that he has MBA. And this is a person that I've been looking for someone, and the brother was right there. I didn't know that. And I've known him for a while. And that's part of the problem. We don't talk to each other. And so please, let us, by next Friday, let us at least better ourselves. For us to better ourselves in the next Friday, and you see the effect rampling throughout the community. And it's going to have positive, effect on our children, so that on the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we could use that to appeal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He asked for what? When He asked how we dealt with the next generation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease our face. رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا وَإِن لَّمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله القائل الحمد لله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وله الحمد في الآخرة وهو الحكيم الخبير وصلى الله وسلم على رسول الله وعلى آله الأطهار وصحابة الأبرار. In closing, we ask the brothers, please let us talk to each other. At least get to know the person on your right, on your left. Next Juma, the next left and the right. You don't have to do much. We have to rush to work, and it's understandable. When we do that, wallah, we'll come up with something. Why don't we even start it in this masjid? We could set an example for the whole for the whole New York. And when we do that, whoever actually copy from our plan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reward us. How do we get this masjid to be the first masjid that put mechanism in place, and so that we don't have to go around asking for fi sabilillah? And if you have to, how do we get our own high schools, our own chartered schools, our own universities? And it can serve as what? An investment. We are not only saving our children, it's an investment. You make money. And when I say money, I mean money. And so that becomes win-win situation. We're saving our children and we're making money. Do we like this? I think it's a good deal, right? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our face. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Someone has lost his uncle, and we have other, mashallah, the deceased ones. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them Jannah. When it's our time, may we also die in a state of Islam. Our children, may they die in a state of Islam. May they understand Islam better than us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make them better than us. This selfishness that is rooted in our heart, which Shaitan actually used to actually divide us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let us overcome that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in each and everyone's business. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that which we want. That which we are afraid of, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us health. Those of us who are sick, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speed up their recovery. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Those of us who have papers, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in them. Those who are not, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitate and make it better for them and their deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that which we cannot even express. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربي اغفر لنا ذنوبنا واسرافنا في امر وثبت اقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. فهذا الدعاء وإليك الاجابه. ربنا تقبل منا دعاءنا ولا تردنا خائبين. ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا ان لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكون خاسرين. قوموا الى صلاتكم يرحمنا الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن الإنسان خلق هلوعا إذا مسه الشر جزوعا وإذا مسه الخير منوعا إلا المصلين الذين هم على صلاتهم دائمون والذين في أموالهم حق معلوم للسائل والمحروم والذين يصدقون بيوم الدين والذين هم من عذاب ربهم مشفقون إن عذاب ربهم غير مأمون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين ومن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم بشهاداتهم قائمون والذين هم على صلاتهم يحافظون أولئك في جنات مكرمون فما للذين كفروا قبلك موتعين عن اليمين وعن الشمال عزين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. في سبيل الله وجزاكم الله خير.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, we like to thank Imam. May Allah increase the knowledge. May Allah forgive our sins. May Allah accept our ibadah, inshallah. There's not much to say. Okay, they say we have a food, so please, whoever want to stay and enjoy with us, inshallah. There's a food for all of us, inshallah. And what Imam just mentioned, I think it is a homework for all of us. So let's try to connect. It's all about the connection. So let's be generous for each other, and Allah will come, inshallah. So do not forget what Imam just mentioned, everything. I think we all learned something about it. So go home and think about it. Ponder about it, inshallah. Allah will come, inshallah. So may Allah help all of us. And do not forget your masjid. We come to the end of the month. So this is the end of the month. The masjid needs your help. Please give to Allah. This masjid is for you. It's for you, inshallah. Nobody will come out and pay for you. For it's you who gonna pay the bills. Help the masjid, inshallah. Fi sabilillah. Don't forget your masjid. Fi sabilillah. Fi sabilillah. Jazakumullah. Also, you have a bread. Take the bread to your family home. And do not forget we have food, inshallah. After the nafila, we're gonna start eating, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
في سبيل الله في سبيل الله محمد كانت ترجمني بالي بيبي ها في سبيل الله 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 Don't move, stay there. في سبيل الله في سبيل الله في سبيل الله في سبيل الله في سبيل الله
في سبيل الله في سبيل الله وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله في سبيل 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 الله سبيل الله في سبيل الله في سبيل الله عمري تابعه إيجا Ika patron tara hijila de. Ah, fama ka idi bijo. Ah, udi. Bismillah, bismillah, bismillah. Bismillah, bismillah, bismillah. Bismillah, bismillah. Bismillah, 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 bismillah. Cek, ini be, tu be. Ah, tu be. Tu be, caman ya. Caman tu. Kau perlu ni kena, beri kalau sah. Wala, tu be. Bismillah, bismillah, bismillah. Bismillah, bismillah. Bismillah, bismillah. Other people come in, they have to play. Sit down like why? Not me, you don't listen. Hope to see you, alright? I don't know. Me, you don't collect your life. One time I tell you, must make yourself correct. You don't put yourself correct, but set you outside. Alright? Bismillah, 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 bismillah. Bismillah, bismillah, bismillah. Bismillah, bismillah. Asa tibeya. Antu Muhammad tabo Muhammad. Bismillah, bismillah. Bismillah, bismillah. Bismillah. Jadi masure ini. Masure lah. Wala le. People drinking over there. Alhaji, you alive?
Inshallah. Last year somebody was new alive. Oh, how you doing? You okay?
Bismillah, bismillah, bismillah. Check.
You always take up a chef, you make me hungry. So,
Alhaji, Masur. Camera, the way you got dog, you never have someone of I need to blame on doing it. We have food here. Anybody want to eat? So don't go. We have a lot of food. في سبيل الله